Rigify is a free plugin that comes with Blender, and in this video, we'll learn to rig an entire character, including the body, the face, and long hair. This is a part of the complete character tutorial series, so if you've been following along, you have a character that looks something like this. If you haven't been following along, you'll need a humanoid character mesh with eyes and hair that are separate pieces. TurboSquid, CG Trader, or DeviantArt have a bunch of free models, but if you really want to use this mesh, you can support me on Patreon and pick it up. These are the steps we'll go through in this video, so let's get started with preparing the mesh. Delete anything that's not part of your character, but keep the camera and the lights. For those of you that did the shoe tutorial, this will be a little section just for you. Everybody else just skip it. So let's grab our little leg section here. This is the leg from the shoe tutorial. You can copy and paste it into your main character file. And then go and delete the mirror. We've got the shoe here. Let's drag this up here and apply. I like to collapse all of my modifiers as much as possible, except my sub Ds. Sorry, grab the new leg. You can see the new leg goes up this tall. So grab our old mesh and go to face mode and grab the mesh below our new leg and X and delete it. Then grab the opposite side and go to mesh separate selection. Then exit out of edit mode. Grab our new leg, grab our old leg, Control J to join it. Then go back into edit mode, go to vertex mode, grab our new leg, hit N to open up this tools panel, go to options, click topology mirror, and then if you look here, you can see that the old leg doesn't match the shoe. Okay, if we hit turn off X-ray, if we hit G and just click it without moving the mouse, you can see the old leg matched our new leg. Okay, and then grab our legs now, grab our main body, Control J, go to edit mode, X-ray mode, grab where we cut the legs off, hit M to merge it, and go by distance. Okay, so now we have one complete mesh, and our feet match our shoes. When I'm preparing a mesh for rigging, I like to reset the scale for everything, set the origin point to the world center, and delete as many modifiers as I can. So let's go and do that for everything here. So we'll grab our foot, and we know this is already symmetrical because we deleted the mirror. The origin point looks like it's at the 0, so that should be fine. And we can check the scale here, and so the scale is set to 1, so that's fine. Check the body, same thing, so the origin point is not at the world center. So to do that, we can use the 3D cursor. So go and hit Shift S and 1 on the keyboard. So you bring this 3D cursor to the world center. Then go to Object, Set Origin, Origin to 3D Cursor. So now that's at the world center. Scale is 1, so that's fine. Do it for the body, grab the body here. Okay, so the origin is not at the world center, so Object, Set Origin, Origin to 3D Cursor. And the scale is not set correctly, so hit Control A, Apply Scale, and this should reset to 0. You could actually do all transforms, and that does the same thing because everything else is already zeroed out. Let's go through all the face parts here. Let's hide the hair temporarily. Okay, so let's grab our eyelashes here, and we'll go over here and number pad period to find where we saved it. We can grab all of these and then Control J and join it. And then let's do the same thing for the eyelashes. Lashes here, Control J. Let's check it here. So our origin is not at the right place. rotation is 0, scale is 1. And I said 0, but I meant to say 1. So scale 1, that's all good. Here, origin is not good, rotation 0, scale is 1, so that's all good. So let's grab these two and go down here and object, set origin, origin to 3D cursor. And now it should be good for both of those. Locations back to 0, locations back to 0. So that's good. Let's do the same thing for the teeth. Let's go and hide the body temporarily. Grab that and scales at 1, rotation 0, location, so the origin is way up here. Object, set origin, origin to 3D cursor, that is 0. Okay, let's bring our body back. Okay, so let's actually hide the body again. So for the eyes, we're going to do it differently. We want to have the origin in the very center of the eyes. And so right now they look like they're in the center, but we're going to show you how to do that just in case it's not. So let's see here. Okay, so if we grab this eyeball, go to edit mode and A, shift S, and cursor to selected. That's a good way to get your 3D cursor in the middle of an object. However, since we cut off the front of the eye, this cursor is not in the middle. It is in the middle from the front, but not from the side. So how do we fix that? So let's just go to edit object mode, shift A. Let's go to mesh and add, say, a sphere. Let's go to view and do wireframe. Okay, let's go to the side view here. Let's scale this down. Like that. This is kind of hacky, but I think it should work. So hit G and then Y and pull this back and keep going until this origin is right over the center of our eyeball. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Let's check it from the front. And that looks pretty good. And then shift S and cursor to selected. And now the cursor should be right in the middle of this new sphere that we made, but that's also in the middle of our eye. So that's good. So now we can get rid of this, X and delete. And then we can grab our eye, and then go to object, set origin to 3D cursor. And then now that's centered. It was already centered, but that's how to get it in the center. Okay, so then I just brought back the outer layer, object, set origin, origin to 3D cursor. Okay. And then assuming, let's pretend these eyes weren't centered like that. So let's delete them, delete. You can grab these two here, shift D to duplicate, then drop it with the escape key. And then, I don't know why I always do this, but I always do this. I just type a negative here and it pops it over. And I type a negative there and pop it over. And then we can change this to right. And right. Okay, so the eyes have their origins in the middle, so that's all good. Let's bring our body back. Let's do the hair now. So for the hair, let's just apply all the modifiers to it. So let's go over here, curve and apply, mirror, apply. We'll leave our sub D. And let's just hide that so we know we finished it. So I'm going to go through and just do the same thing for all the pieces of hair. Okay, now that's all done. Let's go and bring all of our hair pieces back. And down here. Then let's delete all these curves because we no longer need them. This is also a good time to make any last tweaks to your mesh if you don't like something. So I'm going to look at this mesh here, and I think her head is actually a little bit too big. It's a cartoony look, but I think it's just a bit too much. So let's go and edit this. And so make any tweaks that you feel like you want to do. I'm just going to really quickly modify this head here. So I'm grabbing some edges here so I can snap my 3D cursor to it. I'm going to scale it, the whole head, to this point. And I'm also going to scale the hair to it. Actually, I'll do it separately. Okay, then I'm going to grab all of this. Let's hide that. Hide our eyes. Grab all that. Go to edit mode, X-ray mode, vertex mode. Let's grab all of that. Unselect that. I'm going to scale the head down just a bit more. Too much. Think like that. Still cartoony, but better. Okay. Then the eyes. It's hard to get the eyes to line up right. They actually sit further into the head than you kind of usually think. Let's grab the hair. Let's lock that. Lock that. Lock these. Okay, grab the hair. And scale this whole thing in. Let's look and see where we can line things up logically. I think this is where the hair comes out, top of the forehead, so let's scale it down. So let's recheck our transforms here. Body should be fine because we modified the mesh, not the in the mesh mode or the edit mode, not the object mode. So that should be okay, which it is. The eyes should be messed up and the hair should be messed up. So let's go and fix that again. So it's kind of a pain. Control A and scale. Actually, let's do this. Grab all those, Control A and scale. And now I'm checking these here, and they should all be okay, which they are. The hair should be messed up. Let's just grab all these. They should all be messed up. Control A and scale. Okay, those are all probably good. We need to also set the 3D cursor for these. I don't think we ever did that. So let's grab all of our hair here, go to Shift S and 1 to bring our 3D cursor to the world origin, and then object, set origin, origin to 3D cursor. And now the origin's down there, and we should have zeros for all of our locations. Great, so I got 0, 0, and 1 for scale. So our hair is all set and zeroed out. Our head's a bit smaller. I think that looks nicer. I'm just checking to see if there's anything else I want to tweak. I think maybe her wrists are a bit thick here. So let's just tweak that in. I've got symmetry turned on. Let's pull it in just a tiny bit. Okay, we're all zeroed out and ready to start rigging. Let's install the Rigify plugin, but make sure you're using anywhere in the 2.9s should be fine. I'm running 2.935. Then go to Edit and Preferences and Add-ons right here. Click on this search bar here and type in Rig, and you should see Rigify right here. Check that so it's turned on, like that. Then go to Shift A, Armature, and if you see Basic and Basic Humanoid and Quadruped and Metarig, that's how you know it's working. One more part about setup that I forgot to mention was the scale. So make sure you're scaling to what you want it to be. Blender default uses meters. That's what I use. And so she's standing, if you grab the body, you can see how tall she is. She's about 1.52 meters tall. So that's about 5 feet tall. So that's appropriate for how I envision this character being. If wherever you're going to use this character has a different scale, just make sure that the height matches to what scale you're going to use. Let's now make the metarig. So what we're going to do is make a metarig, which is basically a template for Rigify to make the actual rig. And you keep the metarig so that way if you mess up, you can change it and then generate a new rig. Okay, so let's go and get our view set up. We'll hide the things that we don't need. We're just going to do the body for now. Let's turn off wireframe, make sure X-ray is turned on, and let's hide these things because they're getting in the way. So just drag that there and then reopen it like that, and then N, T, T. Great. Let's go to side view here, front view there, and then let's build this metarig. Okay, let's make sure our 3D cursor is at the world 0, Shift S and 1, then Shift A to add, go to Armature, and go to Metarig. And then scale this down. We're moving towards our 3D cursor. So scale this down till the shoulders roughly line up. And then what we're going to do is go to Edit Mode and just move these bones around until they match our character. So let's go to Edit Mode here. And one thing I do want to point out is when you're moving these bones, you kind of have to be careful about this. So if you grab a bone and then hit G to move, you'll see right here the bones separate. It doesn't do that for all the bones, but for some of the bones it does do that. And that will break when Rigify generates the rig, that'll break things. So make sure that you don't just pick bones to move them. Make sure you drag select over, kind of like focus on these joints. So when you're dragging across some bones, make sure you go across all of those joints and then hit G to move, and then everything stays together. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so let's get this pelvis lined up correctly. So let's move this up here like that. And let's turn mirror on so you only have to work with one side. S, X, G, Z. So those kind of go where the hip bones are. These pivots, I like to bring them further down. I think this is kind of like where, if you feel your on your hip bones, on your body, you can kind of tell where the pivots are, or you can look at anatomy drawings and see where the pivots are. This is roughly where they are. I have found that if you make this go down a bit further south, it just makes rigging here a little bit easier, but then it looks a little bit less realistic. Okay, so that's in place there. Let's get these legs in place. Okay, so let's see here. Let's grab our knee and zoom in and pull that up so it's roughly center mass. Grab our foot, drag that back, G, Y. Let's pull this north a bit, G, Z, G, Y. So it's back there. One thing to keep in mind for the legs, you want to have this leg bent forward, so something like that. If it's perfectly straight, when you animate your character, it might bend backwards like a chicken leg, and you don't want that, so just make sure this is forward, so we'll pull it just a bit forward. Let's line these up here, so let's put this should be at the back of the shoe. Our shoe is basically the size of our foot. G, Y, like that. And in the front, it should be as wide as the shoe. So GX and GX like that. Let's also do the toes. Oops, don't click, drag. It's so easy to click it by accident. This actually works okay because it's connected there, but some of the bones aren't connected. So make sure you drag across, don't click. And then G, Y, and just get this roughly center of mass where it kind of bends. Pull that back a bit there. Okay, that's good. Let's go to the front view here. So the knees are pretty far out. That's not really great. I find sometimes the legs bend funny when this leg is not straight from the front. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab that and set a 3D cursor, Shift S and 2. Grab these two. We're just going to rotate this in just a bit. And then we're going to leave the knee where it is because it only pivots in one direction anyway, so it should be okay. It might mess up the weight painting a bit, but we can fix that. If you pull this in, I found that sometimes the legs bend a little bit funny, so I'm going to leave that straight. You could go and take your mesh and bend it outwards, but I feel like that's going to be changing the character of this mesh, so we're going to leave that. But if you can change the leg a bit, you could do that too. Let's get our torso in place here. So let's go up here and let's actually hide the arm. That's going to get in the way. And it won't matter, you know how we were talking about how you don't click, you have to click and drag. It won't matter because the arm is always just disconnected anyway. So we can hide that. Let's go and get this out of the way. Actually, let's hide these two. Okay, so let's get this torso in place. So let's grab the whole head, then move this base of the neck to the middle of the mesh, like that. And we'll do the head later, but let's get this second bone in place. And then the base of the whole head, let's get that in place too. Like that. Okay, so we'll deal with all this later. Let's get the chest. So you can see, it's hard to see, you can see the outline for the main mass of the torso. So get this bone in the middle of that. And this top bone, I'd like to make it a little bit longer. The pelvis bone also. Let's get that in the middle, and I like that to be a bit longer. And these two bones, it just kind of blends between. Okay, I think this might want to come back just a bit. Maybe that one too. If your character has breasts, you can have them to be animatable or whatever. So you can get that in place. And then let's Alt H to bring the arms back. Let's get this bone here in place here. So GY. Sometimes the wireframe is easier to see things. GY. GZ, GY, and GZ. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's grab the arm. Let's move this inwards, GX, and let's get this bone here in the center of the shoulder. Something like that. Let's see it from the side. It needs to go forward like that. That feels pretty much in the center of the shoulder. And then let's move the arm in place. So let's grab this, Shift S and 2, then grab all of that and rotate that down. Let's roughly line up the wrist. G and pull that up, and we'll do the fingers later. Let's just get the main hand bone, this one here, in place. The legs are making it hard to see, so we can hide these for now. Hide, hide, grab our hand, GY, and let's get this bone right in the middle of the wrist. Okay. Then this primary bone there, let's make sure it just feels like it's right in the middle. And that feels okay. Maybe pull it back a bit. Oops. Shift S2, grab that again, and rotate it back just a bit. Okay. Let's get the elbow bone in place, like that. And then let's see here. Does it look like it's all in the middle? Yep, that feels okay. The arms should be bent also, just like the legs are. So you can see here there's a slight bend, so that's okay. And this bone here should be in the middle of the shoulder, which is good, and this should be roughly following the collarbone. So maybe let's pull that up a bit. Oops. Okay, so let's do the fingers here. So these are pretty tedious because it's the same thing over and over again. So let's go and do that. So I'll show you how to do one finger, and then I'll just kind of like burn through the rest of them. So for the fingers, grab the whole finger here, and then just move it in place. So this first bone is where the finger bends, which is inside this area. So something like that. Let's actually put that back. So make sure that bone also is in center of mass. Something like that. Let's grab these here and make sure this bone here, that joint is in the center of mass. Let's unselect that, which it's not. So there's a little trick you can do. It's a little bit of a hassle, but sometimes it kind of helps. You can adjust your clip. So this is very low. Oops. 0.25. 0.29. So you can see I'm cutting off the back end of this this object, so it hides all of the other bones here, and it makes it a little bit easier to work with. But it's also really difficult to work with because now if you zoom in or out too far, you lose everything. So try it, and see if you like it. If you don't, then just put this back to 1000. Okay, where were we? We're getting this into the center of mass, which looks like it's about there. So that's kind of where the finger starts bending. Then grab that, Shift S and 2 to drop your 3D cursor. Then drag your whole finger and rotate it in place. Something to keep in mind is that it's good to have the fingers. You see how the bones have an actual curve to it? Try and get that to match your mesh. So I'm going to hit R twice to pull that over here. And then I'm just trying double R's and just the one R until that roughly lines up. And I think that curve feels like it's the same. Then go and move these bones. So let's grab that, that, and that. And then hit G. Okay, let's grab this guy here. Move that, grab that, and move that. So let's just check our bend for our fingers. Let's turn off a wireframe. It doesn't look like it totally matches. So let's grab that here. It looks like it wants to pull out a bit. And that looks pretty good. Okay, so now that we have that one finger done, let's H to hide it. And we'll do the same thing for the rest of the fingers. And let's do the thumb here. Okay, so I think that's about it. Let's unhide that. Okay, so now we can work on the face. Let's put this back to normal here. Before we put work into lining up the face, let's just check our rig to make sure it works. So grab our rig, hit N, and let's check the scale. Scale is not good, so let's Control A and apply the scale. So that's good. That's 1, 0, and 0. Okay, that's good. Then grab our rig, go down to this object properties, object data properties, and click Generate Rig. And if it doesn't give us an error, we're good to go. Okay, so it's working. So let's just Control Z that, and let's go and lay out our face. It's actually probably a good idea to save it right now because we know it's all working. Go and turn X-ray off here and turn off our wireframe. Let's go to edit mode, and we've got symmetry turned on. So you just want to line up, just like before, line up all of these bones to match our face. Let's also hide these because we're going to keep grabbing them by accident. So let's go and grab that, shift grab that, and shift grab these guys here and hide. Let's line up the ears. Never actually done anything with the ears. GX, let's just line it up. Okay. Let's get these out of the way. Just make sure. Okay. Hide. Okay, let's do the face. Now let's do the tongue too. I'm trying to do these parts that'll get in the way first. So it's hard to see, but this is the tongue here. Hopefully your model has a tongue for speaking. Let's just grab that, ungrab that, and I think that's in place. Hide that. The teeth bones, let's grab those too. So if you don't know what bone you're grabbing, you can click on it. Then up here you should see what it's called. This is the teeth bone. And I know I said don't click, but these aren't actually connected to anything else, so it's okay. And then can't see the teeth, here we go. We're rotating around this 3D cursor, so you can either drop a cursor or change this to bounding box center. And just line that up with the teeth, and hide that. Okay, so now all we've got are the main face bones. So let's go and line all those up. So make sure we're dragging across our bones here. And let's also grab this one and that and GZ and pull it down. Let's grab that guy there too. Let's grab this too. GZ. So when you're placing these bones for the lips, let's turn on X-ray. You want to get, let's see here. So you want to get the joint kind of like right in the middle of the lip here. Let's see here. So you want to get that joint right in the middle of this mass. And I like to have it like just behind the surface. So let's go and do that. Here. Let's pull it back. So here, this is the circle. And this is the mass. Let's put it like right there. Let's do the same thing for the bottom. It's kind of like right there. Okay, that looks pretty good. Maybe a little bit lower here. Okay, like that. And then let's do the same thing for these. Let's actually make sure the front is lined up right. Yeah, let's adjust the front first. GX, let's go to X-ray. So it's hard to see here. I'm trying to get this corner to the corner of the mouth. So it's like right here. So let's just drop a 3D cursor. So get this right there. Okay, like that. And then these need to line up with the shape of this here. Let's get that there, get that there. And that should be pretty good. Let's make sure we're symmetrical. And then let's line up these from the side here. Okay, so you can see we're a little bit inside. So let's pull it out. GX, oops, GY. So it's going forward. I think that's pretty good. Same thing here. GY. That's going forward. So the reason why I'm hitting GY, so it only goes forward and backwards, because we know that from the front, these are all lined up properly. So now we just want to pull these out until they're just behind the surface. Something like that. If you can't see it, you can do this too. Okay. Then let's grab this. GY. Okay. Something like that. Let's get this chin in place. Like that. Okay, let's get our jaw in place here. So let's go like that. Let's grab this. And so for the jaw, you want this bone here to be kind of where you think the jaw would pivot. So I think that's like right here. So get that there. Pull that up a bit. Get that here, and let's get that around there. So that's pretty good. Let's check the front also. So let's pull this in, GX. And let's pull this one, oops, back a bit. There we go. And this one should go in a bit more also. This one should go out. There we go. Okay, let's get this one in place here. Let's actually get the eyes in place. Let's just grab over all of that. And let's line up the eyes, G, Z, roughly like that. From the side, G, Y. So I'm kind of looking at these eyelids and trying to line it up with these eyelids. Roughly like that. Let's get these eyebrows roughly matching our eyebrows. And these bones should be below the hairline. So let's pull this down here. Like something like that. Okay. And let's check these eyebrow bones here. And they look pretty good. Let's get this nose bone in place. So it's fairly self-explanatory. You're just like lining up all these joints with your mesh. Nostril here. Okay. Pull that in a bit. Okay. And this needs to come out. Kind of like this wants to make somewhat of a mask around the eye. I want to make sure I didn't move one of those bones by accident. I think it's okay. Yep. I think moves this one a bit further. Okay. Let's do the eyes. Okay, let's go to the front view here. These eyelashes might be getting in the way actually, so let's hide these. Front view, grab our metarig, and let's go to X-ray. Let's grab these here. Actually, let's hide some bones. They're getting in the way. Hide those, hide that, hide that, hide that. Okay, that's good enough. And then let's grab these, go to solid mode, GX, pull it out. Let's go to the side view here. Let's pull these down towards the corner of our eye. So this one right here should be in the corner. And this one here should be where we want so the eye folds. And so this wants to be right where that fold is. So this part, anything above this won't move. Anything below it will move closed when the eye closes. So let's grab these here and pull that up. If possible, when you're positioning these, all these bones, if possible, try and keep these all lined up in a straight line. It makes things deform a little bit nicer, but it doesn't always work with your geometry. So, but if possible, do that. Let's pull this up here. That's pretty good. Let's pull that forward. It's like here, I'd like to have this lined up with there, but the eyes are shaped just a little bit differently, so it doesn't quite work. So you can see that we're chopping through this area here. So this is pretty big, but that's pretty small. They should kind of all be equal. So we're going to make that more equal, even though it's not lining up with this perfectly. We can actually pull that down a bit. So that's a bit better. Let's pull this down a bit over here. And I guess that's pretty close. We can kind of line that up. Let's check our side view here. I think this can come further back. So just like the lips, these joints want to be kind of in the center of this little mass, but just inside the surface. So pull them all in like that. This one goes in a bit. Oops. GY and pull that back just a bit. GY and pull that back a bit. Let's make this go north a bit. GZ. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Then let's work on this one here. GY, GY. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Let's get our eye bones in place. We'll go to object mode, grab our body and hit H to hide it. And then grab our eye here. And we've got our origin in the center of this eye sphere. So let's hit Shift S and 2. And then let's go back into our metarig and go to edit mode and X-ray. We'll grab this eye here and go to Shift S and 8. So Shift S and 2 moves the cursor to the center of what you have selected, which is what we just did. Shift S and 8 moves the selection that you have to the cursor. So that snapped, if you can see that, that snapped this selection to this cursor. So Shift S and 8. So that's good, but now our eye bone is not straight. We don't want that. So let's grab this one, Shift S and 8. Now it's invisible. Then hit G and Y and just pull that forward until it hits roughly the front of that eye. Okay, now that's perfectly lined up, which is good. And then let's bring back our mesh and Alt H, object mode. So that should be everything. Just go into X-ray and just check to make sure everything is where you want them to be. And you can always tweak this later. You can blow away your rig and just redo it. You might have to do it a couple times to make sure everything deforms nicely. But what's nice is that since we have this meta rig, this template saved, then you can always go back to it and tweak it and then regenerate your rig. But I think that is our meta rig. Then you can test it too. So if you go to Object Data Properties and just click Generate Rig, then it should generate the rig. Great, it's working. Let's undo that. This next trick is a better way to rig the eyes and the teeth. I learned this from CG Dive, so there's a link below if you want to see a much better video on how to do this, but for this video, I'll show you the basics of how to do it. Okay, let's hide everything else, go to edit mode, grab our face, zoom in. So what you want to do is grab the eyes and grab the teeth bones. Let's Control I and H. Okay, grab the eyes and a teeth bone. Shift D to duplicate and transform around individual origins and scale this a little bit bigger. Let's parent the new bones to the originals. So we'll grab the copy, shift click the original, Control P and keep offset, and do that for the rest. Control P, keep offset, Make sure mirror is turned off. Click, shift click, control P, keep offset, and click, shift click, control P, keep offset. So let's go to pose mode here. Object mode, pose mode. And let's just test it. So let's grab the original. And when you rotate it, if you see here, we have the original selected. When you rotate it, the copy should move with it. Okay, so that's good. So let's go and hide these guys again. Control I, H. Okay, let's go and click each of our new bones. We'll go to the bone properties and go down to the Rigify type and do the basic super copy and then turn off control. So this makes each of these bones a bone that you can use for weight painting, which is what we want. Same thing here. Let's turn all these things off. Rigify type, basic super copy, turn off control. And last one. Okay, let's check it to make sure that worked. So Alt H, exit pose mode, grab our rig, then go to Object Data Properties and generate rig. And then go to this layer here. This has all the deformation bones. Let's hide our metarig. Okay, so you can see these 4 gray bones are the ones that we just added. And these are all our new deformation bones. You can see it's the teeth with a 001 at the end. That's what we just made. And if you look at the properties here, you can see it's a deformed bone. So we can use these for weight painting normally. Okay, so let's exit pose mode and Control Z until we get rid of our rig. Control Z. Okay. Okay, let's bring back our body, go to solid mode. Let's go and add the hair in. So let's turn our hair back on. So we're going to add bones, strands of bones, kind of like the arm. We'll add strands of bones to control the hair. It'd be too much work to have one bone for each hair strand, so you kind of generalize. So usually I like to add 5 bones. So we'll have 1 bone strand to control the front edge of the hair, 1 to control the very center, and then 2 to fill up the in-between. For this example, we're just going to do 3 strands because it's a fairly simple hair and it's tedious to go through it. So we'll do 3 for this tutorial. Okay, so let's grab our mesh here, go to edit mode, and then go to the bone tools here. And then let's go to, oops. So these are different types of bones you can add. We just used the basic copy chain, but what we're going to use for this is these are just different types of bones you can add. So we're going to add the tail and add sample, and we can't, okay, there it goes. And we can move this over here like that. We are rotating around individual. Let's do bounding box center, rotate that. And let's line it up to where we want the hair to start moving from. So I think all up here, the hair is going to stay where it is. So kind of around here on the back at least, it's going to start moving. So let's start the bone right there. And then let's add as many bones as we want to control it. The more bones you have, the more detailed control you have, but then the heavier it gets. So do what you like. I usually have the bones a bit bigger on the top. And then they get kind of smaller as you go down. So let's grab this here. E to extrude. And that's probably plenty. Also, since this is like one large mass, you don't want to have the hair sticking on the very outside, so push it into the middle of the mass that's moving. So for the hair up here, it's actually very thin because the scalp is right there. So this is actually okay. Then over here, start to push it in a bit towards the center of mass. But this, since the mass is so thin down here, this should actually be there. So something like that. We're still more biased towards the outside, but it's somewhat pushed in. Okay. And then let's name this. So we'll grab the whole thing, hit Control F2. This is the name, batch name command here. So go to bones here to rename the bones. And then go to set name, click new, and name this hair. And then click OK. And then if you click through this, you'll see the name up here. So it's hair 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that's our first strand of hair. Oh, let's also make the parent. So let's grab the top hair here. Let's actually unhide. And we're going to parent this bone to the hair, to the head. So this is spine 006. You can actually just click here and grab that and copy it. And grab our hair bone, click our bone tools, go to relations, parent, and then Control V, spine 006. So now we've got the parent set. So that's good. By the way, I learned this from Lollipop Man. He's got a YouTube channel, so definitely check him out for lots of rigging tutorials. The link is in the description below. Let's just check this to make sure it's working. So go to object mode, grab our rig, generate. You should see controls appear over here. Okay, that looks good. Let's Control Z that. Go back into edit mode. Grab our hair. And let's add some more strands. So we'll grab this, Shift D, drop that back. Let's put our 3D cursor into the world center. So Shift S and 1, then R and 45. Let's rotate around the 3D cursor, R and 45. And let's bring back our hair and kind of line this up where we want it to be. So let's see here. I think we want to have this hair starting right around here. Usually I'd have one strand here and then one in the middle, or two in the middle and then one in the back, but let's go quicker and just go something like that. Yeah, I think that'll be pretty good. And then let's see, let's Control I to select everything else and hit H to hide. Go to X-ray mode, and let's move these in place. So similar to how we kept the eye joints in line, try and keep the hair joints in line. So instead of just free moving, do G and Y to keep this bone in line with the hair over here. It just makes it a little bit cleaner. You don't have to do that, but it just helps a little bit when the animators are thinking about how to animate these things. So it's nice to have, but you don't have to do it. And then let's get this in shape here. So let's see here. GX, let's pull that in a bit. And let's see here. that in deep enough? I think that's okay. Okay, so now let's grab our hair bones, Control F2, and we will set a new name and hit plus here, and we will set a new name again and do a suffix at the end of the name and call this dot left. Okay, so we need to do this so we can mirror the hair to the other side. Actually, let's not do this yet. First, let's do this. We will Shift D, then G over here, and we will armature, just leave it like that. Okay, so now we'll do this. We will Control F2, set name, hair plus, we will add the suffix dot left and OK. So this should be hair left 1, 2, 3, and it should have a dot L, so that's good. Let's do the same thing here. Control F2, dot right, OK. And then go and grab this and armature and symmetrize. And now our hair is mirrored. Just make sure our bones are parented correctly. Spine 06, OK. Alt H. Okay, now we've got our hair bones in place. Okay, so that should be it for our meta rig. Let's go to object mode and we'll generate the rig and make sure it's all working. So object data properties, generate rig, and in a second you should see all the controls for our rig appear. There we go. And let's turn on, so these are all the controls for the rig, but this one here, if you hold shift and click this, you can see the actual bones appear. So let's go to solid mode. Let's isolate and go to pose mode. Okay, this is a little better. Let's transform around bounding box center. And we can just check it, make sure it works. So if you hit R to rotate, you can see that these bones here, move along with the rest of the rig when you grab the controls and move them. We can grab a hand and move that. Can't see, there's too many things here. Nor the head. Let's check the hair. That works. We're going to tweak this to make it work better for hair. And then if we grab the eyes, you can see the new bones that we created. These guys right here. You can see they'll rotate. They'll move to track our eye target. And then our new teeth bones that we made will rotate with the jaw. Hard to see. It's right here. There we go. Okay, so rig is working. Let's go back into object mode, leave isolate mode. And now let's start attaching our character to our rig. Okay, let's hide our meta rig. And let's hide our hair for now. So sometimes it's useful to join your whole mesh all together. And sometimes later you like to separate things. So let's go and do that. So we're going to make it so it's easier for us to separate and join things. So we're going to grab our body, go to edit mode, hit A to select all, and then add a vertex group, and just call this body, and then click assign. Okay, so now if it's all unselected, if you click select, it picks all the body. Okay, and let's do this for all the rest of the pieces of the mesh. So the eyebrows, grab that, A to select all, add a group, call this eyebrows, assign. Let's hide the body. Let's grab the teeth and let's do this. Let's go to vertex mode, L to grab the top teeth, add a group, top, let's call it teeth, top, and assign. Okay, that's working. Then L, and then create a new group, teeth, bottom, and assign. I always forget to assign. Then L, grab our tongue, and create a new group, tongue. Okay, I guess we can do the eyes since we're here. So let's grab both of the eyes. A, we probably won't need this, but let's just do it anyway. Eye left, assign, and then eye right, A. Okay, let's bring our body back, and then we'll have to do the hair later to figure out how to do the hair. So it's okay. Okay, let's actually get the eyes too. Looks like there's still a mirror on here, so let's go and apply that. And then let's also make sure it's zeroed out, so it's 0, 0, and scale is 1, so that's okay. And then let's go and add those vertex groups. So let's grab this, click off, let's isolate, and go to X-ray mode. Then we'll hit L a bunch of times. I find it's useful to have a top lash selection and a bottom lash selection. So let's go with that and do eyelashes top and assign, and then go over here and Control I, create a new one, call this eyelashes bottom and assign. Now when you grab the top one, select, or the bottom one, select. Now you can select them separately. Okay, now let's actually hide these for now. I find eyelashes, you need to do them separately. Let's join the teeth and the body. Oh, okay, so the body has some shape keys. So that's actually, this is when we were shaping the face, we were testing. So let's actually, oh, I think we were painting. So let's delete that, So there's no shape keys, no shape keys. Okay, it's joined. So let's grab all these. Let's grab our body last and then Control J. So now they're all joined. Okay, so now let's go and parent our mesh. Let's grab our body, grab our rig, Control P, and with automatic weights. Here we go. Okay, and then let's test it and see. So if we grab this and move it, the eyes move, or the skin moves, not the eyeballs. Let's grab that and move it. Okay, so it's working. There will be a lot of things that aren't nice that we'll need to fix, such as when you pull the eyes closed, you can see things don't move super clean. It's actually not terrible. Let's check the jaw here. This is usually messed up. RX. So you can see it's not perfect. We'll need to fix a lot. Teeth don't stretch like that. So we'll fix all of that stuff. Okay, let's go and hide our body. Let's grab our eye. Let's actually join these. So let's join those two, Control J. Join these, Control J. And let's grab our eyes, grab our rig, Control P with empty groups. Grab this eye. Let's look for eye. Okay, so it's eye. So these are the new bones that we made. Let's go for the left eye here. Go to edit mode. A, assign, make sure weight is set to 1. Do the same thing for here. Grab the right eye, edit mode, A, assign with weight of 1. So now, when you go and move this eye control, the eyes should track along with it. Let's bring back our, okay, so now our eyes are working. Okay, and I am noticing that we only have one eyebrow. So that's not going to work. Oh, and that's weird too. So it looks like it didn't apply the weights correctly. And I'm thinking also we might want to have a little bit more detail to this mesh for the eyebrows so it bends nicer. So let's go and do all that. So let's exit pose mode, grab our mesh, go to edit mode, go to this caret here, and let's type in eyebrow or brow. Then grab this. This is that group we saved earlier. Hit select, then go to mesh, separate selection, exit edit mode, grab our brow, go to edit mode, and I just saw something that's weird. I'm not sure what that is. So it's X and delete edges. And now I'm paranoid that there might be other weird things around. So I'll hit A and zoom in with number pad period. And it zooms in to where I expect it to go. So I think we're okay. If there are some like little vertices somewhere else around here, if I hit A and select, then it'll zoom in like pretty far out. So this is kind of a way to just double check to make sure that you don't have extra things floating around. So I think we're okay. Let's go to object mode, go to the modifiers, and let's just apply this sub D to get more detail. So apply. Obviously you don't want to do this too much because you're adding to the mesh. Like you might have wanted to manually add some detail, but it's not that much, so I think it's okay. Let's delete this armature. Let's go add a mirror and then apply that. Then we'll grab our brows, grab the rig, Control P with automatic weights. Then let's go and check our eyebrows and see if they're okay. Okay, that's pretty good. So those are working and we have 2 eyebrows. So that's good. I know our head's messed up there. We'll fix that later. Okay, so eyebrows are done. Let's go and do the teeth and tongue. Go into edit mode, then go into our object data properties, then type in teeth, and let's select, and then mesh, separate selection. Let's get the teeth bottom, select. Let's make sure we have that. Okay, with X-ray you can see through. Mesh, separate selection. And let's grab a tongue, T-O-N-G, tongue, select. And these are all those groups that we saved earlier. And why isn't it selecting? Select. We must have not assigned the vertexes to that tongue group, so let's mouse over the tongue and hit L, and then mesh. That's actually assigned this. So now if we select it, it selects, and then mesh, separate selection. It's kind of handy to have these groups so you can select things easily. Okay, let's go into object mode, grab the mesh, hide that so we can work on our tongue and teeth. Let's grab our top teeth here and go into edit mode, and then go to object data properties, and scroll down here a bit. So what we want to do is we want to take away all of the bone groups, just like the eyes, that aren't connected to a bone that we want to use. So let's go here and type in the bone that we want to use, which is teeth. So this top bone here is the one that we want to use. It's the one that controls all the weights for this tooth, these teeth. So we'll grab that and lock it so we can't delete it. And let's also grab this one here so we can easily select our teeth. Then go to these options here and delete unlocked groups. Okay, and then let's unlock these because we want to weight paint with these. When these are locked, you can't delete them, you can't do any weight painting, you can't do anything. So make sure you unlock this if you want to do some weight painting. Okay, then let's go ahead and grab our rig. Let's actually just test this. So grab this, our X, it actually looks okay. So we don't need to weight paint that. Let's do the same thing for the bottom teeth. So let's exit pose mode, grab our teeth, object data properties, type in teeth, and then we want the bottom teeth bone. This is that one here, and we want to grab this one also. Then delete unlocked groups. Let's unlock these. Then grab our rig, grab our teeth, go to object. Actually, let's test it first. RX. Okay, so we need to do a little bit of weight painting. This is happening because these vertexes here, let me see here, turn these on so that way this armature modifier will stay applied even when you go into edit mode. So this way it looks like that. With these turned off, it'll snap back. So let's make sure these are on. So these vertexes weren't applied to the teeth bones at all. So let's go and weight paint that to put that back. So let's grab our rig here. This is the weight painting layer. So let's go and shift click that. So these bones that appeared, those are for weight painting. So we've got that selected. Let's shift click our teeth, go to object and weight paint. And then let's go and click our bottom teeth bone, and you can tell what the bone is that you have selected. If you control click here, you can see it's def teeth B for bottom, and when your mesh turns blue, that means that it's got some weight painting. If it's red, it's got a lot of weight painting. So this needs to be all red, or at least some color, because it doesn't have any other bones that are affecting it. So really any color will work. Let's go with tool, grab that, F to make that bigger. There you go. So you can see here at this blue here, that's the bone we have selected. If it's bright red, it's full power. If it's blue, it's light power. And it doesn't matter because we only have one bone. So we're good. Okay, let's grab that there. Let's turn off our weight painting. And let's do the same thing for the tongue. Leave pose mode, grab our tongue, object data properties, type in tongue. And then we want the tongue deformation bones. We want our group here. And it's a little confusing because you only see 4 groups, but we have this filter for tongue. If you turn it off, you see there's a whole bunch of groups. Okay, so let's delete unlocked groups. Now let's unlock those again so we can weight paint, and then let's go and test this to make sure it's working. And let's grab a bone here and see, like, so that looks okay. So A, G, R, S. Okay, so I think all of our face elements are rigged. Let's bring back our mesh. Oh, these are not done yet. Let's do the eyelashes. Let's bring back our body here. Grab our eyelashes, grab our rig, Control P, go to automatic weights, and we can check it, but eyelashes they're always a pain. So you can see the weights are applied, but they're just not working right. So we will have to go and manually weight paint to fix them, but let's make our job a bit easier and do the same thing as we did with the teeth and the eyebrows. So let's go to object data properties. So we'll need to delete all the bones except for the ones around the eyes that affect the eyelashes. So if you look here, we need to get the ones, not nose, all the ones that, I don't know if you can see it here, that have the word lid. Okay, all of these we want to keep. And then over here we have brow B, brow bottom. We want to keep those. Brow top, we don't. So anything with a lid or brow B. Okay, so let's go out of pose mode, grab our mesh. Let's go and type in lid. Let's keep everything with the word lid in it. There are a bunch of bones for the eyes. Oh, I just this button by accident. Everything with the word lid. Brow. We want to get everything with the word, actually it's brow dot B. Anything with the word brow dot B. Okay, so then we've got all of those. And then let's delete unlocked groups. Let's turn off our filter and re-unlock everything so we can do our weight painting. If you forget to unlock these things, if you have locked bones and vertex groups, when you're trying to weight paint, the bone will be red. That's how you know that it's locked. Okay, so we can test this again. It's still going to look bad, but let's just check it. And yeah, still not great, but we will fix that. Okay, so we have all of our main components rigged. So let's check it really quick here. So let's grab our torso and let's grab our hands too. Oh, can't see. Okay, let's grab our feet too. So just grab everything and move it. And if you see anything left behind, like these shoes, those parts are not rigged. But it looks like everything is sticking, so we have everything attaching to our rig now. We haven't done the hair yet, of course. But now at least we can do the weight painting. But let's also attach the hair, and then we can focus on weight painting all at once. We'll do all the technical bits first, and then we'll do all the artistic stuff afterwards. Okay, so let's hide our face details. Let's hide our body. Let's hide our fancy shoes and make our hair visible. So similar to the eyes and teeth and tongue and stuff, I like to create vertex groups for the hair. Long hair is a real pain to rig, and a lot of times you have to it'll be a big mess. You have to pull off a few strands and weight paint them separately and then put them back into the whole chunk of hair. So this is a strategy I use to make it just easier for myself to select parts. So let's go through that, and let's actually do this to make it a little bit easier for us to see what's going on. Let's grab all of our hair bones, Control I and H. This way it'll be easier for us to see what's going on with the hair. Okay, so let's take away our outer hair and let's work on the inner hair first. And let's leave pose mode. So this is basically the hair cap. We probably won't do much with that. So let's just join that. Let's make a selection group anyway. So we'll A to select all. Let's move this up. Click plus. We'll call this hair cap and assign. Make sure you assign. I keep forgetting. Let's hide that because we're done. Let's grab these guys here. Let's join that. If you look at our bones, I'm going to try and attach or group these hair strands based on where the hair bones are. And I'm also going to try and separate inner hairs from outer hairs. So for this group of hairs here, probably always going to follow this middle bone. Even if this left one pulls out and the right one pulls out, this is probably going to follow the middle. So let's go and make this one whole chunk together. We'll call this hair nape and assign and hide. These two on the left will probably always be together, and same with on the right. To X-ray, grab that. We'll call this hair left inner and assign, and call this hair right inner and assign that. So, okay, that's good. And let's hide that. And then let's bring back our main group of hair and see how we're going to break this up. So I'm looking at this bone and these bones and trying to see where it separates, and I think this is good for the back hair. Let's hit G and move to make sure I'm not missing anything, which I'm not. We will hit Control J to join that, edit mode, A to select all, drag this back up, call this hair back, and assign and hide. Let's break this up into left and right. Let's unselect our rig, shift click. You always have to have one of the things that you have selected yellow to go into edit mode. Okay, let's go to X-ray and face mode. Let's go L and select a bunch of these pieces. Shoot. Okay. So I selected 1/2 of these pieces here, but you can see that it went across, and that is because sometimes when you mirror and apply a mirror modifier, sometimes there's a vertex somewhere that's perfectly on top of each other, and so it makes it think it's one mesh. So let's go and let's fix that. So mesh, separate, selection, grab that, isolate, edit mode. Let's zoom in on here. So like probably that vertex right there is the same for both sides. Okay, let's grab that, and just manually grab 1/2. It's kind of a pain, but it's okay. And let's go and mesh, separate, selection. There you go. So back to what we're doing here. Let's grab 1/2 of that, unselect our rig, go to edit mode, and hit L a bunch of times until you see no more black dots in 1/2. I think we're good. Mesh, separate, selection. And let's grab 1/2 again, shift click one of these, and Control J. So now we have 1/2 there and 1/2 there. But then let's see, we can name this hair left, assign, name this a hair right, and assign. Okay, so usually I'll have 5 hair strands or hair bone strands, and so I'll break off the front, then a middle. In this case, we only have 3, so this front section can all be one chunk, but maybe it's good to have kind of the rear section kind of blend in between these 2 bones. So let's go and do that. So let's go to face mode and x-ray mode and grab some of the hair that's kind of more towards the rear, like that. Go to hair, left, rear, and assign. Okay, that's good. Do the same thing for here. Let's grab. When you're grabbing your hair, if you just click it once, it looks like it's selected, but you'll see black dots. So you need to get your mouse over one of those black dots and hit L. So this way you see no more black dots. The backside was not selected. So make sure you don't skip out on the backside there. Okay, call this hair right rear and assign. Okay, that's working. And then let's bring all of our hair back. I think that's gonna be pretty good. So let's go and rig this. Okay, let's attach all of our hair together. So let's shift click that, control to unclick that, and then shift click to grab one piece, Control J, and we should have one big chunk of hair except for our hair cap. Okay, that's good. Let's click that, click our hair, shift click our rig, Control P with automatic weights, and then let's check this to make sure it's attached. Go to our rig, and let's see here. Let's go to pose mode, item, torso. So we'll grab the hair bones and move that. And that's doing something. It's obviously not great. Yeah, there's some weird stuff going on, but weights are attached to it. So I think now we have everything attached and we are ready to do weight painting. Let's go and bring everything back. Let's get our eye details. Okay. Let's actually fix the hair controls before we get started. These tail examples, they work nice because you can grab that one thing and move the whole string of hair up, but it only goes in one direction. And I think it curls a little bit too much. So let's go and fix that. Let's put this back, Alt R. Let's hide that. So for each of these bones, we need to go into the bone properties and turn on Z. So I'll go and do that. Okay, so now when we grab the hair, it'll go backwards like it did before, but it also goes to the side, which it did not do before. I also think the hair curls too much when you do this. So let's go and lower that a bit. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's go and just lower. If you lower this number, it reduces the amount of curl. So just go here and 0.6, 0.5, 0.4, 0.3. I feel that works okay. It's a little tedious. Okay, so now the hair shouldn't curl too much. So when you grab that and move it, I think that's pretty good. And then we forgot to delete our unwanted bones. So let's go and do that. So let's grab our rig. So we go to our weight painting bones here, click this one, and let's isolate and go to pose mode and Alt H. So we have everything. So we want all the hair bones to be attached to our hair, and that's everything with the word def hair. But we also want some of the hair to follow the head, so that's going to be def spine 006. Okay, so let's remember that. Untoggle, grab our hair like that, and let's type in hair and lock everything with the word hair like that. Then we wanted also the spine 006. Let's type in 006. And it was def spine 006, this one here. And then go to delete all unlocked groups. Okay, so that's good. Now let's go and re-unlock all of these hair bones so we can do our weight painting. And then let's go back to our rig, go to our main layer here. Let's grab this. This should bend nicer now. Still not perfect, but it's a little better. Okay, so now I think we are ready to weight paint. But before we weight paint, we're going to create an animation to help us make sure our weight paints look good. So we're in the animation workspace, and let's just set up a space here so we like our setup. So we'll grab one panel and drag that out. We'll grab another one, drag it out. We'll set this top one to the timeline. This is so we can turn on a record feature on and off. This one we'll use a dope sheet. This has a little more detailed control of our keyframes. And let's grab our rig, hit N, go to item. So this has all of the toggles for our Rigify rig. Let's turn on torso, arm IKs, leg IKs. I think that's good for now. You can toggle it here too if you hold shift and click, but this is nicer because you can actually read and see what it is. And we'll leave off the weight painting bones for now, because right now we're just going to do some animation. Okay, so let's walk through how animation works basically. So this is our timeline. So you can hit space and you can play through it. You can hit left and right arrow and go through it one by one, or you can drag it and scrub. This is the start frame and end frame, so you can make this 100. And I'll make it shorter. You can make this like 400, and it'll be longer. If you scroll in and out, you zoom in and out, and you can middle mouse drag to drag back and forth. Okay, so that's kind of how the timeline works. Let's show you how keying works. So you can keyframe parts of the body by grabbing them and hitting I and choosing location, rotation, or scale, or location, rotation, and scale. And this will record the location, rotation, and scale for whatever you have selected. So I click that and it creates a keyframe here. So this is telling Blender that we want this hand to be in this position, in this rotation, and this scale at frame 0. Let's also key this. Okay. Another way to keyframe things is let's move to frame 20. And then let's go to the front view here. Let's turn on mirror. So if you have the record button turned on, whenever you just move a bone, it'll automatically keyframe it. So you can hit G and move it, and make sure you don't stretch your limbs when you're posing these things. Okay, you can drag that here. It's like slightly bent. And you can see it automatically put a keyframe there. So now if we play it with space, it automatically moves. It's cool. So then let's also push it some more. So try and go through like extremes of your limb poses. You probably won't go that far, like we probably won't move the hands up that much, maybe, but if it looks good that far, then we know that whenever people do stuff, it'll be okay. So let's move the collarbones up, move that up, and then let's move them forward here. So G, it's kind of fun. To make sure she's not overextended. Can't see. Okay, looks okay. If you don't like where her elbows are, you can grab this and hit R to rotate, and you can rotate it out a bit more so it's more relaxed. And maybe we'll move her collarbones back, Alt R, and move them forward. We'll R, Z to pull that forward. Oops. We'll G, Y and pull that forward. Okay. So why am I doing this? So we're going to do our weight painting, and then we could weight paint, and you can see here the shoulder looks funny and below the arm looks funny and the chest is pulling. So we could weight paint and make that look good, but then sometimes it'll make it look bad when the arms are forward. So we want to kind of animate our body so it goes through all just the basic range of motion. So when we do our weight painting, we'll know it looks good in every position. Okay, so I'm going to go through and just pose the entire body in every single position with these basic bones. Then I'll go through and do the details for the fingers, and we'll save the face and hair for later. Okay, so if you're comfortable with this, just skip through. If you want to watch me just take my time doing this stuff, you feel free to watch. Okay, so we got side, forward. Should actually go up. Rotate our elbow forward, and let's move our collarbone. Let's see here. That's pushing it. I don't think that'll work too good. It's okay. Let's see here. Let's move the hand out, move the hand in. Oops, it's okay. Let's rotate it that way, rotate it that way. Then let's do her fingers. Fingers I like to do them one by one. So you grab this, hit S to scale, and it rolls the finger. Then go to the next frame, 5 frames. Hit I, location, rotation, scale, and do the next one. I, location, rotation, scale, and do the next one. Yes, it's very tedious. Our fingers actually look pretty good. Oops. Scale that one in too. Okay, and then let's maybe do one here. Let's get fingers detail and turn off the main fingers. And let's grab these knuckle bones. And then let's go to local. Make sure we have individual transforms, and go to R and hit enter. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why did that pop? Something popped here. Okay, weird. Turn off that one and RX. Next one, RX, RX, and RX. Let's not forget the thumb. Let's just move that down and something like that. So we can test all of our finger joints. They actually look pretty good. The wrist is a little bit funny. Okay, let's go and pose the legs. G, Z. The shoulders and the legs where they attach to the pelvis are the hardest parts, I think. So let's just move it up. I don't think the leg will ever move more than that. It won't go higher than that, so that's probably good. Let's do the ankle. Then let's do a jumping jack. Let's not stretch our legs. Okay. Then put that back. Alt-R. I. Zoom in. Let's rotate our toes. RX. RX. Okay. Alt-GRS. That also keyframes things. I don't know if you need to do this. Oops. Okay. What else do we have here? Oh, let's do the torso here. So we can do the hips. Put that back at 95. Okay. Alt-R. Let's go forward and backwards. RX. Okay. Let's put these feet back. Alt-GR. Okay. Must have missed a keyframe. Okay, here we go. Let's bend our main torso here. Let's just go grab the whole thing. A, I, location, rotation, scale. R, and let's put this back. Alt-R. RX. As far as would go. RX. What we should do this. Do that, and then do this. RX. And make her head go down. Let's hide her hair. It's confusing. Oh, her head's messed up. Let's go back. RX. And RX. The hands buggy, you can move those too. Trying to reach her toes here. And I think we can push that a bit more. RX. Okay. Alt-GRS. RZ. And RZ. And RY. RY. I. Location, rotation, scale. RZ. Y. A. GRS. Okay, so I think that's good. Let's see here. If I missed anything, just go ahead and add in your own animation to make sure you cover the full range of motions. Oh yeah, her fingers are moving here. Okay, so let's start with that. Way painting is a process of telling your mesh how to follow the bones, so that way when you pose or animate your armature, the mesh will look good in any position. Okay, so let's see how to do this. Turn on our bone layer right here. This is the bone layer for Rigify. And let's leave pose mode. Grab our rig, shift click our mesh, go to object and weight paint. Okay, so if you control click a bone, you select it, it shows how much that bone is influencing the mesh by color. So you can see red is a lot, green is a little bit. Same thing for down here. Now the trick is we want to get, okay, so it's pretty easy to do the calf here because we know that the calf wants to follow this selected bone all the time. It's pretty easy to do the thigh because we know this part of the thigh wants to always follow this thigh bone. The parts in between this knee, it's going to be a mix of something in between the two. And you can see right now it's kind of not looking so great there. So we're going to go through and weight paint and make everything look good. So we'll click the bone here, and there's all these tools that we can use to smooth things out. So this here is the blur tool. So we can use that. You can click the blur tool. Up here you can adjust the strength of it, or you can hit F to adjust the strength, F to adjust the size, or Shift F to adjust the strength. And then if you brush over it, you can see that it's kind of smooths the color out and it smooths out the blending. Okay. Something else to notice is right now I have mirror turned on. So if you, I'm going to undo this, but if you weight painted, say, one half, the other half will be mirrored, and this makes it easier to so you don't have to do both halves. So leave that one on if you have a symmetrical character. This tool here is an average tool. It's a different kind of blur tool, but it averages out the weights of all the bones that are affecting this. So you can try both of these. They're just both different kinds of blurs. This here is the smudge tool, so it's a more it's kind of like Photoshop, and you can smudge things. You can, let's see, Shift F. Let's lower this a bit. So you can click and drag to have a more focused influence of how you're adjusting the strengths here, like that. So you can maybe make the calf less influenced by the thigh, like that. This is a gradient tool, so it's not really useful in this application, but it just applies one even gradient of weight to like everything. So we're not going to use that for this. So those are most of the tools I use for weight painting. So let's just go and do a few of these things and see how to do it. Okay, let's start doing some weight painting here. So I like to start with the armpits and then the pelvis area, because those are the two hardest areas. If those two work out, then you're probably good. If they don't work out, then you can relay out your bones for your metarig and then redo it. Toggling X-ray is good because you can toggle the bones on, control click to pick a bone, toggle it off. Sometimes it's nice to have the edges shown, and also it's good to sometimes have your sub D turned off. Oh, and I forgot to mention, when you mirror, make sure you have the mirror vertex groups turned on. So that way when you do stuff, it mirrors across, and whenever you undo it, it disappears. You have to actually do something first, and then if you undo it, it'll stick. Okay, so it's kind of weird. So this body's following the arm too much, so let's make that follow less. Grab here, mix, hit B for subtract, Shift F to reduce the weight down really low. And then let's just weight paint that here so it follows. the arm less. It's kind of fun. It's kind of like a meditation, like sculpting. It's kind of like sculpting a moving object. But I think if we reduce the weights here, you can see how these edges are pulling up towards the arm. So you want to think that if the arms are up, how do you want that mesh to look? I think these would be better if they were closer to the body. So I'm just going to lower those down. You could use the smudge tool also. That might be better. It's kind of strong there. Yeah, that's faster. Okay. You can see how much that this looked totally blue, but it was actually affecting the body. See, even back here was affecting the body. Okay. So that looks pretty good. At least down here below the armpit. I didn't work up on the shoulders yet. And then you can use the arrow keys to step through it and see how it looks. And like here, like, okay, this no longer looks good. So let's go and fix that. So it's kind of this, you weight paint a bit, then you move things around and weight paint some more and move things around. I'm just going to try and smooth it out. Smoothing it out will add some of the stuff I erased to the parts that are less. And then I think here, I need to smudge a bit. I think this wants to follow the arm less. No, more. Yeah. Okay. I think these want to all follow the arm more. So it's tricky. You're just trying to lessen the amount of extreme mesh positions as much as possible in all the poses. Sometimes if you have just a couple areas that you just want to fine tune, you can do this. You can directly edit the vertices. So if you go to edit mode, it pops back, which is not going to be helpful. But if you turn on these guys here, then the mesh will stay. When you go into edit mode, you go to vertex mode, and click a vertex you want to edit. Go to the item. Then down here you'll see a list of all of the bones and the weights that are affecting that vertex. So you can go and mess with stuff and see how to fine tune it. This is, I mean, try not to do this. This is kind of like pixel pushing, so you kind of don't want to do that. But sometimes it's helpful. So that's a little better. You really need to spend a lot of time weight painting, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time doing this because we're just going through this tutorial together. But you know, this it's a slow process. Okay. So I think it's kind of looking okay. I think this here is not looking super good. It's a little better. Okay. Maybe let's work on the shoulder here. So it's hard to get the shoulder. Shoulders are really hard. It's hard to get the shoulders to look good when they're up like this. So just kind of do the best you can. You can think about where this character is going to be seen. So probably seeing from the front a bit. If it's a third person, you might see it from the back. She's got long hair, so thankfully it'll cover some of the shoulders. But okay, let's just do this. It's also useful to toggle the overlays so you can see it shaded nicely, or you can see it with the wireframes and bones. I have this set to insert. I think that's the default key. I can't remember. But just toggle this guy here. If you add some weights to the main body bone, it kind of smooths everything out, but don't do too much, because then you start losing definition when it's your limbs are extended out. Let's see, the breastbone is messing with things a bit here. Let's try and average this out a bit. Just trying to get this shoulder to look less extreme. It's not looking quite right, but at least less weird. I think that's helping a bit. Blur it a bit. And let's see here. It's a little bit pinching there. Okay, that's kind of okay. Oh, one thing to point out, you can use preserve volume or not. Sometimes this makes things look better. Right now it's not making things look better, but you weight paint differently with this turned on or off. If you're exporting to another program that doesn't have preserve volume, you want to leave this off. So this way, like for example, Unity doesn't have that. So if you weight painted with this on and it looked good with it on, when you go to Unity, it wouldn't look like this. So if you're going to Unity or some other program that doesn't have that, leave it off. So I'm just going to leave it off. Okay, so I'll call that good for now. Let's do something else. I'll come back to it later. Okay, so let's see here. Let's do the second hardest part. Let's do the pelvis area. So this part's a pain also. So let's go through this. So it's the same thing really. You're just messing with the weights. So look at where it's pinching. It's always going to pinch on the front here, and the back will get kind of distorted. So let's just try and do that. Blur it a bit. So you kind of want to look at these bones here, at these edges, and when this thing is bent up, what do you want these edges to look like? And so really this should be higher. So oops, let's go and pull that down, blend it down, those lines go up. This is actually preserve volume helps there, but then it makes other things worse. And there's other tricks that we can do, which I'll show you in some other videos, and how to, you can get it as good as you can with weight painting, and then you can do things with corrective shape keys to fix the parts that you just couldn't get it to work right with weight painting. So if it's not perfect, it's not the end of the world. Okay. Try and get this to, as much as possible, not overlap, but don't make it too far apart, because that looks really weird. And you won't be able to get it perfect. Okay, that looks really weird there, but looks kind of okay from there. So I think we want this part to come forward. So let's grab our pelvis bone here. Let's grab the leg bone here and reduce some of this strength. Yeah, I think that's going to be better. But this tedious, almost sculpting, this is weight painting. It's just very slow, meticulous. I kind of enjoy it. It's kind of nice. It's relaxing. It just takes too long. Okay, it's a little better. You can see how the back of the bike gets all flat. That's not very realistic, but there's not a lot you can do with it with this this rig. Let's go to the so those are the two hardest parts, so I'm going to call those done. Let's look at the jumping jacks pose. It's a little funny how this moves so much, so I'm going to reduce that weight here. Yeah, see, that shouldn't move. So we'll go to where we didn't like it moving. So like this looks good, then it kind of collapses in. And then we'll reduce some weight there. But then you gotta think, okay, did we screw it up when her legs are up? So go to that pose. Where is it? And see how it looks. And it's okay. Yeah. Okay, so I think that's all right. The middle of the legs is pulling down, so you can increase the weights for the main bone, the main pelvis bone. So let's lower that. Shift F to increase the weight. Let's go to the part where it moves funny. So here it shouldn't come down that far. So if you increase the weights, you can kind of make like an underwear shape here. That usually works out pretty good. Or you could take out some weights from the bone here, the leg bone. Go B. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Let's work on these knees. So this is very hyperextended. It'll probably never go that far. Typically just running around, jumping and stuff, you're not going to go that far. So let's call this our furthest extension, and let's weight paint that. Okay, let's do this knee here. I usually start off with blurring things a bit. Sometimes it's useful to add some weight painting from the bottom of the knee, the calf, to the top here. It kind of increases volume a bit when that leg bends. Not too much, and then vice versa. Like that. This will definitely need corrective shape keys. But just try and get as much separation between the top and bottom leg when it's extended, hyperextended. You can also, let's see here, you can add some weight down here. So this is kind of, if you add some weight from the upper thigh down here, when the leg closes, it'll have better definition. But when it's halfway closed, this gets smaller. So if you do it, don't do it too much. Okay, I mean, it's definitely needs corrective shape keys to get this to work, but I think that's okay. So that's going to be the same thing for the rest of the body. We can look at the fingers. They actually looked pretty okay. Let's see here. Yeah, it's actually okay. Let's see when the fingers bend down. You could try and accentuate the knuckles a bit. That's kind of hard, but let's try it and see if we can do it. Okay, let's grab a bone here, and I think if we reduce some of the weight up here, it should pull forward. That's not what I expected, but it's kind of working. Mix. Okay. Yeah, there you go. So it kind of pulls it forward a bit more. Actually got it backwards. You can see that this this bone here is bent down, and so when you add volume here, it pops it up. So actually that's not working, it's too far. But over here, it pushes it up and it actually makes it look a little bit like a knuckle. And here I think it actually helps. Okay. The wrist looks a little funny. I kind of struggle with wrists too. In fact, weight painting is just hard. Everything about weight painting is hard. Let's see here. So blur is great, it helps a lot. You can just kind of blend it out. You can see it just doesn't look quite right. I feel like you need to either use corrective shape keys or throw in an extra bone or something to get it to look right. But you can get close enough. So here, if you add some weight from the hand, it'll push that wrist in a bit, and that looks more natural. Okay. Let's check. Oh, her elbow looks a little funny. Let's fix that. Actually, let's check. Let's bend our wrist and see how that looks. Where'd it go? Ah, here we go. Let's pull that back a bit more. And here too. Alright, it's a little better. So I noticed that I didn't have a good animation for our arms to look at the elbow. It doesn't bend quite enough for me. So let's go and add an animation to show that better. So let's go to object mode, grab a rig, go to pose mode, and then let's go and turn on our IK controls. So these are the IK controls. And let's go to frame 75. So we had it moving here, and then it stops moving, and it just stays there the whole time. Okay. So let's go to frame 80. Actually, let's go back to 75. And so let's turn these on here. Okay. So there's two ways to control limbs. There's an IK mode and an FK mode. IK, which is the one that we were using before, you can grab the hand or foot and hit G and the whole arm just moves. The FK mode works differently. So let's show you that one here. Let's switch to this. Let's go to one. FK mode, if you hit G and move the wrist, nothing happens. You have to grab a limb here and hit R to rotate, and you can rotate limbs that way. So two different ways to move the armature. So we're going to, in our animation, we're going to switch from IK mode to the FK mode, because you can see you can only use one at a time. So let's put this back here. So at frame 75, we will hit I over this IK FK switch, and that'll keyframe that to 0. Okay, I. So this means that it's on full IK. Then let's switch to frame 75. We'll hit left arrow to go to frame 76, and we'll switch this to full FK. Okay, there. So anything before frame 76 is all IK mode for the hands. Anything after 76 will be all FK mode for the hands. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. It's a bit of a brain twister the first time you kind of think about it. So let's go forward a bit here. Say frame 80. Grab our arm here and go to R and left click to set a keyframe. Let's go to frame 90 and hit RX to rotate the hand up. Great. So now let's weight paint this thing. So go over here, go to our weight painting layer, shift click our rig, object and weight paint. Then let's grab a bone here and see what to do here. Let's start off with our blur tool. Try and get some definition between the two parts. And then it's weird here. Let's use our smudge tool to bring some of this down when it's hyperextended. I feel like we'll need a corrective shape key for the elbow. A lot of times the only place I use corrective shape keys is on the elbows, maybe on the lips, but the elbows it's just hard to get that to work right. Let's get as close as we can do. Have this push back in a bit also. So you can see as we're bending, we're losing volume for the elbow, and the elbow is getting all skewed, so we'll definitely need to fix that with corrective shape keys, which we won't cover in this video. Okay, I think that's okay for now. Maybe let's pull this down a bit. So another trick you can do sometimes is if you notice that some things you just don't like, and you see it more when you bend things, you can tweak them a little bit. So I feel like her forearms are really big. So I'm going to actually tweak that a little bit to look a little bit better. And you kind of want to be careful with this, but it can be useful. So you can go into edit mode and grab a few points and just be really careful. Don't do this too much. Just do it a little tiny bit. And so this is actually changing how your character looks in its default. So I think that helps a bit. I also felt like her forearm was a bit big over here too. Maybe a tiny bit there. So it's, oh yeah, this is where it was bugging me. She had like kind of Popeye forearms. So now I've modified the rig, and so the mesh. So you want to make sure it looks okay. So go back to her rest pose. Just make sure it's not all messed up. Or what you can do is you can actually go back to here. You can go to your armature and just turn off the armature. And just make sure it looks okay like that. So it's this kind of like very influx, moving kind of sculpting. And you also want to be careful about doing this technique here, because if the clothing is all made already and it's the kind of clothing that sits on top of the mesh, then you're going to just mess everything up. By reducing your base mesh with clothing above it, that's not going to be so bad because you're not going to be poking through your clothing. But if you're making this bigger, that'll blow through your clothing. So be very careful about doing this. Okay, so let's go and turn the armature back on and see how that looks. And I think that looks a little bit better. Changing this elbow down here, that's way too much to change by sculpting the base mesh. So we're going to leave that alone. and call the elbow done. So I think after this it'll start getting repetitious. So I'm just going to burn through the rest of this mesh, and then I will see you on the other side. Let's check the ankles. So the ankles, you kind of want to keep the weights off. Like for the thigh, for the calf bone, you want to keep the weights off of the foot. So let's go and get rid of that. Just messes up the shoes. Let's do the toes here. So for the toes, just kind of get the whole thing to just blend up. So let's subtract from our foot bone. Sometimes it's useful to turn off front faces only so you can go through all the limbs on both sides at once. But I like to leave that on. Then let's just blur it to smooth it back in place. Here we go. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Maybe we want the pinky to follow a little bit more. Oh yeah, we need some more here. Mix. Try and average this a bit. Too much. Okay, that seemed to help. So that's a little funky, but well, she'll be wearing shoes. If you want the feet to look better, we really should have had more than one bone. But she's got shoes, so if you just have a nice kind of like a nice bend when you weight paint the shoes, it works pretty good. Okay. Toes. Usually the hands are a lot harder than the toes are. Let's check our hips. Ooh. Hubba hubba. Looks okay. Let's fix her head. So we will grab a hair bone, and you can see here that the hair is messing with the head. So let's go and remove all of the vertex groups for the hair. So we'll go to the mesh, go to Object Data Properties, click here, type in hair, and then let's delete everything with the word hair. So let's just make sure this is all hair, and then delete all these. And it looks weird. So these points here don't have any weights from the head. So let's go and add those. Object, weight paint, click the head bone here. And then just blur it. Sometimes it's hard to hit those exact points. I guess it works. Okay, so the head's fixed. Okay, let's check the, I thought I had moved the head or the neck. I guess I didn't. So let's go and add some animations for the neck. Grab that, go to torso, pose mode, grab the head, and then go to RY, Alt R, Alt R, RY, RY, Alt R, Alt R, R X, R X, R X, let's look all the way down, and R X. Okay. Let's turn off our controls, go to object mode, grab our rig, mesh, and weight paint. Let's check our neck. Bit of a crook there. Let's go and even it out by adding some weight from our body. Maybe too much. Then back here too. Let's blend it a bit. Sometimes you can add a second window. So you can kind of paint from one view and watch it from the other view. That looks better. Okay, it's a bit better. Okay. Okay, so I think that's our basic body. Now let's go and do the face. Oh boy. So let's put our body into a default pose mode. Let's go to torso. Let's go to 90 GRS. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing and put some animations on our face, so that way we can weight paint the face. So let's see here. Let's toggle these off, those off. Let's do the face primary, and then we'll do the secondary. And we'll turn off our weight painting. Oops. Face, primary, secondary, and shift turn off our weight painting for now. And let's hide this guy. Okay, so let's go and set some animations for the face. Let's grab all our bones here. And eye, location, rotation, and scale. So we have a good starting point. Move 5 frames forward, grab our jaw, and RX to open her jaw up. I, location, rotation, scale. You can see it's deforming okay. Needs some work. Let's make her smile a bit. So try and get it to look as good as it can be without doing weight painting, and then we'll have to just fix it so it looks better. So just move these bones. This is it's a bit of work to get things to look okay. You can see it's deforming a bit funny. If you don't like that, you can also toggle on your sub D. It's good to be aware of what it looks like with the sub D turned on and off. Okay, that's kind of okay. The mouth, it'll never look perfect. We'll need to add some corrective shape keys for the mouth. So again, just try and get it to look as good as possible. Let's rotate this, Alt R, A, Alt GRS, and then let's make a closed mouth smile. A, I, location, rotation, scale, RX. Let's try and do an O, like, oh my god. It's a hard one. RX. As you can see here, it looks really thick. This is what we'll need a corrective shape key for. But for the weight painting, we're just trying to make sure that the weights are following our controls well enough. Okay, A, I, location, rotation, scale. Let's make sure the tongue and teeth are working. The teeth should be okay. So just kind of like, what is attaching to, it's the teeth, looks like the body's attaching to the teeth, but we're not going to be moving the teeth, so if anything, just a bit, so that's okay. That's okay. But let's check the tongue. N and T to make those go away. Go to here. And then what you can do is you can, so let's just grab the tongue bones so you can make sure our tongue looks okay. It looks like it's deforming okay. Yeah, it's probably okay. A, I, location, rotation, scale. Let's mess with the eyebrows. So let's put them up. You can see we got some problems up there. A, I, location, rotation, scale. Let's make maybe angry eyebrows. Alt GRS. Whoops. Oh, whoa, that tongue is crazy. Let's put that tongue back. Alt GRS. Let's put her mouth back. Okay. And then let's see. I, location, rotation, scale. And let's try and mess with the eyes a bit and see if we can get anything to happen. Eyes are the hardest part. So what you can do is you can grab the eyes, go to here, and G, Y. Oh, let's toggle off the eyelashes. The eyelashes are always difficult, so we will have to do those later. We're going to steal weights from the mesh and apply it to the eyelashes. So, but let's try and mess with this a bit. So you can see it's not quite doing it, and that's okay. We're poking through here, that's okay. We'll fix all that. So to start off with, I like to just look at the bones and get that to look okay. Okay, so you can see here, you can see what's going on with those bones. So just get those to look kind of like a closed eye, and then we'll work with getting the mesh to follow it. Grab all those and just get those to be pretty close, like, oops, almost on top of each other. Something like that. And you can see it doesn't look good, but we'll have to fix all that too. Okay, and I think we want to pull some of those top bones forward, so let's pull this one first. Oops. So that helps a bit. So yeah, you know, not looking good, but at least we have a good starting point. Let's hide that. A, I, location, rotation, scale, and then Alt GRS. Let's see what we have here. So we got some eyes closed, tongue's going crazy, eyebrows. Okay, so we can work with that and make sure this all follows okay. It's actually kind of looking okay so far, which is nice. Okay, checking things here. The lips look really V-shaped on the bottom here. Let's try and actually smooth it out a bit. Oh, this is just our jaw open. Okay, it's all right. Smile, smile. Oh. Okay, let's put our tongue back. I think the tongue is moving okay, so let's just GRS. Okay, let's turn on our bone layer here, go to object mode, shift click a rig, and go to weight paint. Let's pull this down a bit, give it more space. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, so the first thing, I think this crease here is too steep. So just go through all the parts of the face and try and make it look as normal as possible. So right now, the mouth in the O shape, you can see there's a crease there, and the lips look a little bit too pointy on the bottom here. Maybe take out that little point. So just try and make it look nice and even and normal. And you do that by just weight painting. Grab a bone and see, blur or smudge things around and see what does what. So I'm going to try and figure out how to take out that little crease. So I think it's a little hot there. So I think we can pull some weight, and you can see what does what when you're dragging around, but pulling some weight from this bone over here brings the crest of the lips down, which should lessen that a bit. We can see what's going on here. So if we pull this down, it should lessen things a bit. Don't know if I want to go that far. No, if I want the nose moving the whole face. If you pull this one out, this should come down. So that should lessen that effect. Let's help a little bit. Do the same thing for this one here. Think. Take it away from here a bit. Like I need to add some of this down here. Or you can grab, sometimes grabbing the main bone for the area for the head can even things out a bit. Don't do this too much though, but that can also even things out. Basically it makes whatever you're moving for the face move less. I don't want to go much more than that. So it's a little better. Okay, let's see here. This lip is poking out a little bit too inwards, so let's try and fix that a bit. So we'll just pull some weight from this bone down there, and it should smooth or even things out a bit. That's a little bit better. Let's make this bottom lip less pointy and take out some of this mass here. So let's go here and let's pull some of the weights across to make that more round. Not too much. Let's take out some of those hot spots. And let's pull some of this one out to make that a little bit more even. I don't know if that actually helps. Reduce it, does that help? Yeah, I think you want to blend it out. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, that's a little better. Let's not blend it too much. Take out this high point right there. Let's pull some of this here, and let's also blur this. When you get these really hot spots, these localized hot spots, that one might be okay. When you get these localized hot spots, it tends to make the mesh bend kind of uneven. Right where it's like super red. Okay, let's go and take out this mass here by just adding some of this bone's weight. Helps a bit here. Let's take out some of this by adding some of that bone's weight. Didn't work. Maybe add some of the main head bones weights here. just a bit. Too much. Okay, that's a bit better. Okay. Okay, that's feeling okay. You probably want to spend more time than this, but just kind of showing you how to do this, so we'll go rather quick here. So let's work on, let's see what's next. Oh, let's fix her forehead. That's probably going to affect the hair too, so let's turn on the hair and see what's going on. Okay, the outer hair is fine. And that was following our head here. So let's go and remove some weight groups for the hair. Let's not do that. Let's just weight paint the head first. Okay, so first what we're going to do is go to where the forehead was deforming strangely. There we go. And let's go and erase some weight paints. Let's go to maximum weight. Oops. Click here and hit B for subtract. And let's just delete these weights. Let's delete it all the way up to here. Okay, let's grab that one too. Delete all the weights up to there. And this one too. Just delete all those weights. So now our forehead looks okay. Let's see how it looks. Pull some of that out too. I know in real life the hairline would move a little bit. So you could do that realistically if you wanted to, but I'm just going pretty simple. So I'm gonna just take it out. Let's just blur some of this here that actually might mess things up. I think that's okay. Let's actually blur some of this. Okay, so let's put our hair back, and looks really bad. So what we can do is this is kind of how you add clothing to a mesh, but you click your mesh that has the weight paints you like. It's good to save before you do this, because if you do it backwards, you'll screw up your mesh. So save before. So click your mesh, then shift click the thing you want to add to it. Then go to object mode and weight paint. And go to weights and transfer weights. And then open this up here and go source, change that to by name. And then let's go and this is basically how you add clothes so it follows a body. And so you can see now the hair is moving to match it. It's not perfect, but that's kind of how it works. And it's poking through a bit, so we can adjust the weight paints if we wanted to. This is the skull cap, so what I'm going to do, okay, so I want to edit this, but when I go to edit mode, you can see it pops back. So let's just make sure these are clicked on our modifier for our armature, so that way when we go to edit mode, it stays. I'm just going to grab that and hit Alt S just a tiny bit. The purpose of this is just to cover the scalp anyway. So if you can see through the hair or something, you don't see skin. So I don't really care about modifying that. Okay, so that's looking okay. So now let's work on our eyebrows. Ooh, it's angry. Okay, grab our rig, shift click our mesh and weight paint, and let's see how she looks. Okay, not bad. This is a little bit too abrupt. So let's try and reduce that a bit. And if you're getting bored, just skip to the next section, which would be for hair, or you can skip to the eyes. The eyes are hard. Smooth that out. So let's bring in some of the nose to here. It's a little bit better. Up. That's okay. Okay. Let's do the eyes. So let's just try and smooth this out. So just go to where it's close to closed. Just click some bones here and try and smooth things out. Oops. So just like the lips, we'll need to pull weights from one bone to the other to just get this thing to smooth. Let's start off by just blurring things a bit. The bottom is easier because it doesn't bend as much. Okay, so let's go and pull some of this over to get that to blend a bit. Let's pull some of this over. And I'm just using the blur, but in effect it expands the reach of it. Let's pull that over a bit. Oh, that's weird. And then let's pull this over some. This is poking up there. Not sure why. That's a little better. So this is really deforming. I don't like that. Let's soften that a bit. So this is from the bone that's for this area here above the eye, which doesn't move. So if you expand the weights from this one, it'll bring this eyelid, it'll open it like how the eye was open, because that's this mesh's default state. So I don't know if I actually want to do that. So let's go back a bit and put that back. Okay, so I think what I want to do is I want to erase that a bit. Yeah, it's a little bit better. That must have been what was messing things up. Okay, it's a little bit better. We can fix that with just bone position, so don't worry about that too much. Okay, let's try and further smooth this. Let's get rid of this window. And okay, so what can we do here to get rid of these terrible little peaks and valleys? Can we pull some of this over? Let's mix here. M. Sometimes it can help you to turn off your sub D to see what's going on. That's really weird. Looks like the inside of our eyelid is poking through. But I don't think that's causing this warble. I think this one here is, I think we need to knock that back. Or add influence from somewhere else. Maybe we add influence from here. Nope, it's not going to do it. I'm trying to see why this is poking out so far. And I think The original position's right here, so I think that's just because the original location was already sticking out pretty far, so it's going to be hard to fix that. So what you can do in this case is you can try and pull it back a bit. Yeah, so let's go to edit mode, edge mode, and I'm just doing this to make sure it's affecting both at one time, and just pull it back just a tiny bit, and then make sure it's not totally messed up when the eyes open. And I think that'll help a bit. It's not going to help this our original problem, which is the bottom of the eye, top of the eye was warbly. So let's see here. What does that do? Nothing. What does that do? It's not good. Yeah, and see, you can see that vertex is pushing through. Let's fix that later. Let's get the overall shape good first. Okay, let's go back to weight painting mode. Let's try and even that a bit. Oops, you can see I hit the bottom of the eye, so be careful you don't do that. And you know, you want to get this to be good, but you don't need to super get it good because we have eyelashes that kind of block everything. And then you can always use your bone positions to fix things too, but try and get it as good as you can. I mean, really, you won't be looking at it this close. You'll be looking at it like this close. So from there, it's hard to tell. But let's make it a bit better. Sometimes you can just go heavyweight and drag things around just to see what is going on. Okay. Okay, I think that's all right. I think that's good. Let's check it out. Let's just check it out really quick with our controls. So let's go to our pose mode, and then go to the face, primary and secondary. So let's see if we can improve that with our bones here. And let's make sure we are on a keyframe and have animation turned on. Let's try and get a nice closed eye look. It's the corner. Okay, that's not bad. Oh, let's cover up this is the eye poking through. So what you can do is create a pose library later on, and then you can create a pose for the eyes closed. So this way you don't need to like redo this every single time. Okay, so it's getting there. This obviously needs a lot more finesse, but I think it's pretty good. So let's just fix the inverted surfaces there, and then we'll call it good. Okay, let's go to object mode, shift click or mesh weight paint mode, and I think we had some, yeah, right here. It's kind of tweaked. So let's just blur that a bit. Oh, that's actually a little hot. I wonder if that's what's causing it. Not totally. Okay, that helped. Seems like the eyelid is going pretty it's going pretty inside. I think this one is messing things up. So you can do some last minute tweaks too for individual vertices. So if you grab a vertex, you can change some of these values. Don't change them too far, and it's kind of only a last minute thing. You can change those last minute, and then because it's too much work to like change all of your vertices this way, but you can do some final last minute tweaks like that. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so I think that's going to be okay. You might want to put some more work into it, but really we're going to have eyelashes. Looks really funny. We got to fix the eyelashes. But when you have your shading turned on, well, it's a giant mess, but the eyelashes are going to block, are going to get in the way of seeing that skin coming together, and so you won't be able to see much. But let's do the eyelashes next. Eyelashes are hard. Let's go to solid mode, toggle overlays, grab our rig, shift click our eyebrows, and go to weight paint. Let's make sure our mirror is turned on. And I think what we need to start with is these bones here. So we deleted all the other vertex groups for the eyelashes, but we didn't delete these for the where the eyelid folds. And I think that's messing things up. So let's go hit N for tool, make sure we're on brush here, and then click this and hit B for subtract. And let's turn off front faces and shift F to make the weight 1. And let's just erase all the weights. This should help things. Okay. Okay, that's actually looking okay. The inside is kind of poking through. So let's go and fix that a bit. So you can fix that in a couple ways. You can add some weight for the main head bone, or you can add some weight from the opposite side. So instead of this top bone here, you'd add some from the bottom there. So let's try and do that. So let's go to M for mix. Let's go shift F and make this really low. And then it's a lot here. So it's kind of this, this moving sculpting thing. We can also make sure we have, for our armature, make sure these are turned on. Okay, I think that's all right. Let's check it in shaded mode. See a weird line. Oh, so this weird line is bothering me. So let's go and fix that. I think that's just because the actual geometry is got a little gap. So let's try and weight paint that first. If we can't do it, then let's just edit the mesh. So what we're going to do is grab the bottom like we have it and subtract. B, and let's see if we can get rid of this little gap right there. You know what, let's go and directly edit these points. So let's see, for the bottom, yep, here we go, it's the bottom one. So let's pull that up. Did that do it? Yeah, I think that did it. Okay. So our eyelashes are good. I don't like this visual right there. It doesn't look good. So let's go and fix that. I think that's caused by this, what is that caused by? This surface here is coming too far down. So let's go ahead and fix that. I think that's this one here. Let's grab this bottom one and reduce or increase. See if that helped. It's better. I think now this one is doing a problem here. Yeah, that one. Oh, we've got some inconsistencies too. This side looks different. I wonder if... Okay. I think that's better. You could tweak this more. You could tweak this forever. But I think you get the idea. And yeah, you could do this. You could do this until it's perfect. We're going to stop here. Okay, so let's call the eyelashes done. Then let's move on to the hair. Okay, let's go to solid mode. Actually, you know what? Let's do something really quick. Let's go back into weight paint mode. And let's re-turn on front faces only, because that'll just confuse you later. It'll confuse me later. So turn that back off. Let's go to solid mode. Let's grab our rig, go to pose mode, turn off our bones here. Then let's turn on our face, which has all of our hair bones, and torso, which has our head control bone. And then let's see here. Turn on our hair, outer hair, turn on the dress. Okay. Let's hit A to grab all of the rig. Let's go to the very end. And then I, location, rotation, scale. Actually, let's hit GRS so we can just reset the whole pose. And then let's go forward 5 more frames. And then we'll pose the hair a bit so we can do our weight painting. Okay, let's do something really quick. Let's grab this head bone and hit M and hold shift and click this first one here. So we're putting this head bone on this layer and this layer. So now we can toggle these all off. In this one layer we have all the head control bone and all the hair control bones. So this will make it easier for us. And let's see here. So you can see when you move the head down, the hair just kind of hangs through the face. So we can fix that by grabbing this here and setting all 3 strands to 0.5. So here's one, here's the other one, and here's the third one. Okay, so this makes the hair a little bit more manageable. Okay, and then let's set the hair in some poses here. So let's go put the head down. And let's put the head up just to see how it looks. and Alt R and RY, so she's looking away. And RY, so she's looking towards us. And then Alt R, and we'll move the hair up. So let's just move the hair out like that and like that. Oh shoot, and let's put these back at 360. Alt R. Great. Okay, so then we can kind of see how things look. You can see that the hair bones are clipping through the shoulder, but I just wanted to see how this looks. Well, we'll have to weight paint it and see. Okay. So there's some basic animations set up. We can probably add some more later if we need to. But let's get started with weight painting. You know what, I'm going to just take out this rotation here at 360 for the head, so the hair moves just by itself. Then we'll turn on our bone groups here. So for weight painting the hair, we only need the hair bones and the head bone. So Control I and H. So this will make it easier for us to work. Okay, so when we're assigning these weights, same thing. We want to assign various strands of hair, or clumps, or several strands of hair to the strands of bones. But the hardest part is there are just so many strands of hair, and by default you can see they're all mixed up. So we just need to find a way to make this simple for us to do. So let's go and do that. So let's go to object mode and grab our hair here. So let's start with this piece here. These are all messed up. So let's go to edit mode, and I want the hair to stay in place when I go to edit mode. It's easier to understand. So make sure you turn on these two for your armature. Okay, so what I want to do, I keep doing this, is I want to separate this this bottom area here, and that was that group that we made called the nape. Here we go. And so let's select that, and then let's X-ray to make sure there's nothing else selected. You can zoom in to make sure it's focusing on just what you want selected. Sometimes you have a random point selected and it messes things up. Mesh, separate selection. Let's exit out, and then grab our rig, shift click our hair nape. Let's grab our rig, shift click our hair, and go to object and weight paint. Okay, so if you click these, you can see some have weights, some don't have any weights, but there's no weights on this part right here. So let's go and fix that. So let's go into isolate mode, control click a bone, and then number pad period to zoom in. And then let's turn on the wireframe here. And let's weight paint. We will go to brush, tool, click this and hit M for mix. Make sure front faces only is turned off. And let's find the bone that's closest to this area here, because I want to throw weights on there first. And I think it's that one. Okay, so this strand here we want to just be in the middle, so we're going to go through here and erase everything else. So B, Shift F, and then just erase. We're going to leave the vertex groups because we still might use them later, but for now, this is just to simplify it for us. And let's redo some weights here again. So M for mix, Shift F, let's lower that really low. I think I still have some weights here, so you can a shortcut to find out what's affecting a mesh with weights is you can click a point, go to item, and click the one that's a high number. So I don't know which ones these are, so I'm going to guess that it's this one that's messing with it. And then you can toggle off the wireframe and you can see it looks like that's what is affecting it. B, and then take it out, and there you go. Okay. So, and use some common sense when you're looking at these weights. This is probably too much. So let's go and subtract some up here. And this is probably too little. Yeah, so the weights applied really funny. So let's lower this down to like 0.1. Let's just add weights to everything. It's easier when the hair is in its relaxed position to figure out which bone is related to which part of the mesh. Okay, let's subtract some of that. And let's subtract some of that. And blur it a bit. So let's see how this looks now. Okay, so that looks better. If you want to add some volume to the hair, you can do that. So you can, there's a few ways to do that. So I think what I would do is I'd go to edit mode here, L, mesh, separate selection, L. Oh, you know what? I don't think I grabbed the entire mesh. I did not. See, I grabbed only 1/2 because the when you have these red lines, these seams for your UV map, if you're in face mode and you hit L to select, you only select half of it. It stops at the seam. So let's go to vertex mode and then hit L. You should see the whole strand is selected. Mesh, separate selection. Do the same thing here. Mesh, separate selection. Okay, so now there are 3 separate meshes. Then click your rig, click your mesh, object, weight paint, and then you can add some weights to your mesh to get some volume. So mix, F to lower that. So I'm kind of keeping in mind that this is the area that this bone relates to. And then I don't want that much volume. And then I'm going to add some weights to it to give it some volume when it's moving out. And just blur it all back. Okay, so that's a little bit nicer. Let's do the same thing for the other side. Object, weight paint, tool, add some volume. Notice I'm staying away from the top here because this top part you want to follow the skull like completely. So I'm just affecting this bottom area. Okay, let's blur this a bit. And so you can tweak this as much as you want to get to look as perfect as you want it to. I'm going to kind of rush through this for our tutorial. But you should probably spend a little more time in this. Okay, so I think that's going to be all right. So let's go back to object mode, then click, 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 and Control J. So it's back into one chunk. And then let's make sure, so now we like how our hair is kind of like expanding out a bit. It'll never be this extreme, so that's not a problem. If you want, you can fix it. I would probably fix that, but I'm gonna leave it for now. But let's make sure that the hair that sticks to the back of the skull stays in place. You can see here, this is all moving. So let's grab our rig, shift click our mesh, object, and weight paint. So what we will do is check these top bones and we will subtract B and shift F and take out all the way to the top. So I don't see anything here. Take it all out. Wait, did that mess something up? Oh, okay, so it's confusing me because when you erase it, it goes back down here. That's because there's no weights assigned to it. So let's do this. Let's first assign weights to the head. So let's grab that and hit M for mix and set that to 1 and just make that 100%. So wherever it's going to stick to the skull, let's just add full weight to it. So I think all that will be full weight. Here, I think back here shouldn't be red, but back here should be. So it's turned back on front faces only. So now it's not going to blast through the whole thing. Okay. Yeah. I think that's pretty good. Now let's go and erase some of the weights for these things here. B, subtract, subtract, subtract. Yeah, so just take out the weights and then test it and see. Okay, so this is still moving. This tip here is still moving. So let's see what's causing that. Item. I think. So this is our head, and so this is the one that's causing a problem here. Let's go here, subtract. Make sure we're okay. Oh, that's weird. It's all the way over here. Oh, there it goes. So weird. Okay, so we still have something. It's probably over here. Yep, there it goes. Okay. Then if you want, you can go back and fix some of those things. This actually needs more weight. That crest is bugging me. That's doing something here. Ah, there you go. You little bugger. Okay. Okay, I think that's okay. That took way too long. Okay, so that's one piece, and it's following our head here. Okay, so that's good. So this piece is nice because if you look up and you catch the back of her ear, it kind of just fills in that mass. the skin behind the head, so it looks more, the hair looks more complete. Okay, so let's go ahead and do some more hair. Okay, so next let's do like the middle outer hair. Let's go to edit mode and let's see what it was called. Hair back. Select, then mesh. Let's make sure it's the only group we have assigned here. Okay, mesh separate selection. Let's grab our rig. Where's our rig? Grab our rig, shift click our mesh, object, and weight paint. Okay, let's do the same thing. So let's add some weights for the head. Tools, mix, strength 1. And we will add some weight for the hair just where the head is. Let's affect just the inside, not the outside, right here. Yeah, I think it's good. And blur it a bit. Okay. And then last time all of these bones over here messed up our middle area, so let's just take those all out. So let's go to B, Shift F, so it's 1, F, make that really big. Let's just delete the whole thing for these side bones. And nothing's happening. Oops. Need to turn off front faces only. Okay, let's do the same thing for the other side. So this will kind of reset us. So it's just easier to work with. Okay. Then let's go and assign some weights. Mix. Let's make this smaller. Make the weight smaller. And let's lower the hair a bit. And then assign some weights. So that's got plenty of weight assigned. Okay. So now it should at least follow. Let's blur it out a bit. Oops. Okay, so now let's also erase the weights for the bones for the hair, so that way only the head bone is affecting this top area. So B, subtract, Shift F, so you have full control, full weight, and then just erase some here. And blur it back in a bit. Okay. I don't like how this weight's coming all the way down so far from where its bone is. So let's go and take out some of that. That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, those are okay. You can see when the weight paint is not consistent, things really bend differently. Oh, I keep leaving front faces turned off. For the hair, it's helpful to have that turned on. Off. Yeah, see the weights for the sides is a lot less than the middle. It was making things move inconsistently. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. So we can add some volume to this also. So let's go and do that. Let's go to object mode, edit mode, make sure we're in vertex mode, hit L, mesh separate selection, click a point, mouse over, L, mesh separate selection. Okay, Then let's do the same thing. Object, weight paint mode. So it's a lot of the same thing over and over again. So let's just grab that here. Tool, mix, the weight, that's about good. Let's not affect the hair too close to where it comes out of the scalp. And let's not go too far here. Okay, it's pretty good. And then same thing here. Object, weight paint. I may have missed that one. Okay. And again, this doesn't have to be perfect because the hair's not going to be spread out this much. Usually it's just like walking around, running around, jumping around. So it's probably not a big deal unless you know that you're going to be having the hair do these kind of crazy things. And if that was the case, you'd probably want to add a lot more control for the hair. So this is kind of a real general, simple rig for the hair. And you can see it's quite a bit different from the other side. So if that bugs you, you can make it even. I'm just trying to make this look kind of smooth. Okay, I think that's all right. If it bugs you how this strand is going inside, you can go and fix that. That might actually be good to see, so let's do that here. So let's grab our mesh, L, mesh, separate selection, rig, mesh, weight paint. Okay. So we want this little strand of hair to follow that big strand of hair more or less. So maybe we can do this. So we can click what we want to follow, and then we'll click the follower, and then go to object and weight paint, weights, transfer weights, active layer changes to by name. I think I showed you this a little bit earlier in this video. This is the same way you make clothing follow your rig. And it's not perfect, but now you can see it follows better. Still kind of poking through there, but really I don't think our hair will ever go that high. This is like a general use hair, so I think that's fine now. Okay. So let's call this good. We'll grab these things here, Control J, and that's good. Leave isolate. And so those are done. Let's see what else we need here. Okay, let's try and do this left side here. So let's grab that. And, oh, here we go. Let's do the left rear. So let's click off to make sure you have nothing selected, then hit select. Mesh, separate selection. And let's separate this one too here. So hair right rear. Mesh, separate selection. Then let's do this here too. Hair right, select, mesh, separate selection. And I think that's it. Select. I think that's actually the last part. Oh no, it's not. mesh separate selection. Okay, so we've got a bunch of things separated. And let's work on this one. So let's grab our rig. Grab the hair, and then object and weight paint. So I think by now you've got the idea. It's going to be the same thing over and over again until we do all the strands of the hair. And then make sure it looks kind of okay when it's at full extension, but really it'll always be like this at the most. You can see it looks better like that. Here it starts to break down. But adding that bit of volume makes it kind of like fill in the gaps. So that works nice. So I'm going to blaze through the rest of this. Feel free to watch if you want. I'll note anything unusual that pops up. Otherwise, I'm just going to just do this. Okay, here we go. Okay, let's see what's left here. did those. I think now we need to do these two front little pieces. It should be all the front bones. Okay, so let's grab that. Oops, grab that. Object and weight paint. Let's do it again. I think we have just this one last piece here. So let's grab the rig, grab the hair, object, and weight paint, and isolate. Okay. Let's see what we got here. So getting pretty close here. So keep in mind the hair is probably only going to move out that much at the most. But there are some gaps in there, so let's just make this blend a little bit better and I think we'll be good to go. Oh, you can see also here this hair is actually not working right. It's blowing through this is the skull cap, and it's actually blowing through the outer hair, so let's fix that first. Let's grab our rig, grab our hair cap, object, weight paint. And let's grab our head bone here. So it's a little bit hard to see. Let's go here and let's add this all the way. It's not enough to fix it. Let's go here and delete some of that. B and subtract. Let's see if that fixes it. Yeah, that fixed it. Okay. So let's go and blend some of these things. So I think think if this comes out a bit more towards the front, I think that's all we need. Let's grab our rig, grab that object and weight paint. Let's just add some weight to it here. Lower that down. Whoa. Maybe it's a little high. Maybe we'll pull some of these back. So let's grab our rig, grab our hair object and weight paint. Grab that and let's lower this a bit. Can't reach that point. Sometimes it's hard to reach the very tips of the hair. Let's blur it a bit here. Okay. And then, let's see here. Okay, I think we look pretty good here. So that's probably like as far as the hair would go, and I think that's okay. Okay, I think we're done. We've got the hair rigged. Oh, that's crazy. We've got our facial expressions rigged. The whole body is rigged. The clothing is not rigged yet. We'll cover that later, but yep, I think that is it. So that's it for our video today. I hope that was useful to you. If it was, leave a comment to let me know, or like or subscribe. And in the next video, we will attach the clothes to the rig. Thanks. Bye.